of what is it the result. That's the fucking problem.
Right. So that's okay. So like getting into it, and again, we could look at culture, we can look at politics, we can look at. I mean, if you had an opinion, and I know you do, I mean, where do you think our problem went or started from?
Well, it started post World War II. Our young men, our boys, were raised by, dad went off to work, and they were raised by their mothers and their teachers, which were overwhelmingly women. And so what happened is that these boys didn't learn how to stand up and be a man. What they learned was to seek the approval of women. The masculine fucking hates approval seeking. But this is why, when I was younger, before the online dating thing, a guy would show up to pick up a girl for a date, and he'd be like, so what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? Like, he had no plan. He had no idea, because he's taught that, oh, I need to do what she wants and make sure she's happy and give what she, and it's just, there's nothing sexy about that, right? And so the masculine definitely likes to lead, but he also needs to know what he's leading to. And so the way I look at masculine and feminine energy and polarity is that I think women are like the CEO of the company, right? She's in charge of the vision and direction. So this is true of a family, whatever. She's in charge of, like, this is the house I want. This is the home I want. This is the vision, right? He's like the president. He's the day-to-day make it happen, in charge of that, right? So she's in charge of the vision direction. He's in charge of the execute, make it happen. This is the masculine in service to the feminine. And in return, the feminine restores the masculine, right? So it's a beautiful dance. Ballroom dancing is a great example of this. You've got the man that holds the container and the frame and keeps everything set and held in there, and she does all the cool stylistic stuff and everything, and this is him in service to her and her restoring him, right? And it's this beautiful dance. And so and we lost that along the way. Our boys were taught to seek approval instead of, be put on a mission of, like, here's the vision, here's what we're doing. And this is why, I usually will tell, especially the women in my life, you can have me do it, or you can have it done your way, but not both. Tell me what you want done, and I will get it done, but leave me to get it done, right? Because the masculine needs that, right?
Absolutely. And see that, and that was the whole mantra that I felt after in my marriage. And it was a short marriage, just like, every every other one of my relationships. I laugh about this shit. You got to laugh about it. But the happy wife, happy life mantra. And then it wasn't about till, I don't know, 9 years later, uh there was a different way. It was a happy house, happy spouse. And the thing is
Right.
like, how do we get to that?
Well,
Right?
again, but that's
Because
not
it's
from approval seeking, right? That's from execution on that vision.
right, exactly. And having an intent, right? So how do we go from this idea of seeking affection, attention, and affirmation from people outside of us? Obviously, we have to look inward and make sure that we are taken care of and looking, to provide ourselves our own affection, attention, affirmation, right? And I know that sounds a little wonky,
No,
but
you love yourself, man. You gotta love
right,
yourself.
exactly. And that's something that I don't think, and going back to that tribe analogy that you provided about taking yourself out, like going out with the village elders or whatever. And the thing is this is where a man would learn to take care of himself, right? And I'm not talking about, like, manscaping and all that other good. I'm talking about, like, going and actually facing diversity and learning to manage those diversity, or that diversity, under your own terms, right? And of course, you have a watchful eye of, your guardian or whatever to kind of guide you through that. And it kind of falls back into what you were saying, is like, we had these absentee fathers, heavy-handed alcoholic fathers, abusive, and so on and so forth. So we never really had that opportunity. And I think at one point in time, society did offer a group known as the Boy Scouts to
Mhm.
kind of help develop those things like
Yeah.
stoicism and whatnot. And again, I'm not going to get into all of that, but you know, there was some infiltration of individuals who thought that that was a bad idea, so we needed to include females in that, and so you can call me a misogynist or whatever. I know that's complete bullshit, but I think there's a level of misandry that goes on where women want to always have their fingers in the cookie jar when it don't belong there.